Hey folks, welcome to another Triple T Thursday. For those just joining us, that's Tools, Tips, and Talk, where we'll discuss info for the knife maker. In today's episode, I'm going to kind of continue from last week into casting. This week, my friends at Vevor sent me a new electric foundry. So we're going to try that, review that. At the same time, we're going to retry casting these parts for the U.S. Navy officer's sword. Let's go down and take a look. So here's the foundry that Vevor sent me. Let's take a look at what's inside. First, some gloves. That's pretty handy. We've got some tongs to lift the crucible out. This looks like a graphite crucible, which is pretty cool. A very tiny little mold for some ingots. I don't know that I'll use that. Power cord and instructions. So here is the unit. The top folds up. It's got a larger crucible in it, which is cool. So two different sizes. And this one is digital. I'll have to read the instructions and see what all these little buttons mean, but looks pretty cool. So we're going to be casting these two pieces today. These are the two pieces of the pommel of the sword. This goes over the handle, and then there's a cap, a pommel nut that goes on top. So we're going to be casting these separately. First, we're going to do this one. This is the one we tried last week, but this time, instead of dealing with a tiny little thing, I'm going to put this over top, and then we're just going to turn that whole thing on the lathe. So let's pack some sand in the bottom of the flask, then we'll put this in and set it up. Okay, so now we're just going to put a little release on this, which is just some baby powder. Okay, so I think we got it done. Let's see if we can get this little tube out. Alright, so I think we have our mold. There's probably a little gap at the bottom, but that's fine. We're going to fill that with brass, and then we'll grind it off after. Okay, mold's done. I created another little trough for the excess. Now let's fill our cylinder. We'll use the one from last week and these two pieces. That should be enough. Yeah, should be enough. Let's put it in and get it heating. Okay, we got our brass in our cylinder. We'll just pop it in here, close this. I've got it set at 100 degrees Celsius. This thing doesn't do Fahrenheit, so I'm just going to hit go. And it's heating. Now, I want to mention, I will be wearing all of my personal protective equipment, which means gloves, leather apron, full face mask, and of course a respirator, because brass has zinc in it, which is not good for you. So when heated, it will release some of the zinc fumes, which is very bad. All right, we'll let that heat up and I'll get my equipment. It took about 25 to 30 minutes for the foundry to get to 1,000 degrees, but it was super smooth and no issues. I really liked how securely the tongs held the crucible. It was very easy to pour. So that's cooling. I've got the metal heating for the next pour. Let's talk about the next casting. So this one is a little different piece. So there's detail on both sides. We're actually going to be casting this one this way. Okay, put the other side and we're going to pour down here. So let's see if we can get that done. It actually took me a couple of tries to get this perfect. I kept knocking sand into the mold and all kinds of silly things, but I finally got it right. As you can see, I did not account for the heat expanding the flask and breaking it apart. The great part about casting, if you screw it up, you just put the pieces back in the foundry, melt it down, and try it again. Okay, let's try it again. This time I've got the flask taped, and then I decided to put a clamp on it as well. It's not going anywhere. I'm holding the flask on an angle to let the brass pour slowly into it and fill it up slowly, and then I'll stand it up. Let's bust it open and see what we got. So both these castings went really well. Lots of good detail. This one as well. Obviously I'll have to take some of the slag off this, but I think it'll turn out pretty well. The Vevor foundry worked out perfectly. It was much easier to use with these smaller tongs, much easier to pour, easier to control. Plus it heated up in half an hour to 1,000 degrees Celsius, and just was a pleasure to use. It worked perfectly. I've still got some practice to do on actual casting and putting things together in a flask, but this is going to help a lot. There's links down in the description if you want to get one of these. They're just over at $200, so they're really, really affordable. And the PID controller works great, so give it a shot. Thanks, folks. We'll see you on the next one.